Yesterday, Eli Lilly made news that could reshape the future for millions of people treating the disease of obesity. On the same day, they posted one of the biggest earnings wins in company history, driven by Zepbound and Mounjaro, crushing expectations. Lilly also revealed the long-awaited phase 3 results for their new oral GLP-1 pill. Sales soared, profits soared, they raised their full-year forecast, but for patients, the bigger story is what this pill could mean for access and treatment options. Orforglipron worked. It met every trial goal, but the weight loss numbers weren't quite as high as Wall Street predicted, and that disappointment triggered Lilly's worst single-day stock drop since the year 2000. For patients, though, the question isn't about stock charts. It's about whether a more affordable, easier to take GLP-1 could finally open the door for more people to get the care they need. So what's really going on here? Today on the Downsized, we're breaking it down, what Lilly said, what the analysts are saying, and most importantly, what this means for people like us who are using GLP-1s to treat the disease of obesity. Hello, my name is Christopher Durham. My wife Lorraine and I have lost over 150 pounds together using Zepbound, Mounjaro, and yes, compounded tirzepatide, and we've paid for every single dose out of pocket, no coverage, just hard work and hope. We understand the effects of these medications. We also know how difficult it is to gain access and how quickly it can be lost if prices remain high and supply runs short. So before we get started, just a quick reminder, I'm not a doctor, not a stock analyst, not a lawyer. I'm just a dad living in the suburbs who's lost more than 100 pounds on these medications. I'm not giving medical advice, stock advice. I'm sharing our story and reporting on the company's policies and decisions that affect all of us. Please always talk to your doctor about your personal treatment plan. So here's where the numbers meet real life. Yesterday, August 7th, 2025, you may have seen our report on NOVO NORDISK yesterday. This is the report on Lilly, and obviously we're going to talk about both of them. We have the advantage of seeing both reports. Eli Lilly reported their Q2 earnings, and the numbers were huge. Total revenue was $15.56 billion, up 38% from the same quarter last year and nearly $1 billion higher than Wall Street expected. Earnings per share were $6.31, more than 70 cents above consensus. The net income nearly doubled. On the call, CEO David Ricks summed up the quarter as a strong quarter with robust revenue growth, and he highlighted the top-line phase 3 readout of orfroglipron in obesity. At the highest dose, patients lost more than 27 pounds, or 12.4% of their body weight, with safety consistent with the injectable GLP-1 class. He added that Lilly will work with urgency to submit orforglipron around the world to meet the global challenge of obesity. And for those of us on GLP-1s, that future could be expanding if Lilly gets it right. But here's the twist. Despite all that good news, Lilly's stock dropped more than 14%, the biggest single-day loss in 26 years. Well, the question would, of course, be why? Well, because of orforglipron. This was supposed to be the big moment, the game-changing pill, a once-daily oral GLP-1 that could bring weight loss without injections. When the top-line data came out, investors didn't see a blockbuster. They saw something solid, but not spectacular. And in this market, that's not enough. Investors, the analysts, are only looking at that weight loss number, that sexy number, right? And as we all know, it's bigger than that one number. There's a value equation going on here. Analysts pressed the company on this right away. Chris Schott at JP Morgan asked how orforglipron fits next to Zepbound and Wegovy now that the data is in. Seamus Fernandez at Guggenheim pushed on pricing and how Lilly plans to balance value, access, and the growing number of assets coming to market. Umar Rafet at Evercore drilled into the cross-trial comparisons and whether higher doses were needed. You'll hear more of those pointed questions and Lilly's answers as we go. So, do we agree with the analysts? More importantly, do real people fighting the disease of obesity see it the same way? Here's what we're going to unpack in this episode. Number one, how Zepbound and Mounjaro just shattered sales records. Number two, what the orfroglipron trial results actually showed and how they compared to other drugs. Number three, why Wall Street reacted the way it did. And number four, what it all means for access, affordability, and the future of obesity care. If you've been waiting for a GLP-1 pill, hoping for a lower cost option, or just trying to make sense of where this is all headed, you are in the right place. And if you're new to our channel, welcome. We're the Downsized. We talk about GLP-1 medications, obesity treatment, affordability, and what it's really like to fight for your health when the system isn't built for people like us. We tell stories every day. We interview people just like you. We bring you the news. This is Downsized. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment with your thoughts on Lilly's results. We read every single one and reply to quite a few of them. So let's start with the wind. Of course, it's Zepbound and Mounjaro. What else could it be? Let's talk about the star of Lilly's quarter. And no surprise here, it is tirzepatide. Zepbound for obesity brought in $3.38 billion in sales this quarter. That's up a staggering 172% from a year ago. Mounjaro, the same medication for type 2 diabetes, posted $5.17 billion, up 68% year over year. Combined, that's over $8.5 billion in revenue from one single active ingredient in just 3 months. To put that in perspective, tirzepatide alone accounted for more than half of all of Lilly's sales this quarter. On the call, Terrence Flynn from Morgan Stanley asked management how sustainable this growth really is and whether they can keep adding new patients at this pace given supply constraints. It's a great question, isn't it? Lilly's executives pointed to expanding capacity and a clear path to meet demand. They said more manufacturing lines are coming online this year and into 2026, and that this should unlock further patient starts and reduce wait times. But here's the thing for patients. Those numbers tell you just how important these drugs are to Lilly's bottom line. When one product line is driving that much profit, the company has the ability to adjust pricing, improve access, and still win financially. And this is where the opportunity lies. If Lilly wanted to, they could take a slice, a small part of that $5.66 billion quarterly profit, and make Zepbound and Mounjaro affordable for more people. That's not charity, that's smart business. Lower prices can grow the patient base, increase long-term revenue, and build trust. It will add to their bottom line. So the big question here is, of course, will they? Well, we don't know, honestly. We'd love to see them do it. It's speculation. Next, we're going to take a look at the supply side because availability is about more than just how manufacturing lines are running. It's also about where and how you can actually get these drugs. Executives confirmed on the call that all doses of Zepbound vials are now available. That's important because up until just this month, all doses of the vials were not available. But there's a catch. You can only get them through Lilly Direct, the company's own direct-to-consumer platform. When Chris Schott from JP Morgan pressed the team on why they're keeping vials exclusive to Lilly Direct instead of opening them up to traditional pharmacies, Lilly framed it as a way to reduce friction and ensure patients have a more consistent, reliable supply. They didn't go into financial specifics, but for anyone who's following the industry, it's worth noting that bypassing the traditional retail channel means bypassing pharmacy benefit managers, the PBMs, that take out a huge chunk. If you believe testimony before Congress this past year, PBMs account for 74 cents on each dollar that is billed to a customer. It's a lot of money. Lilly didn't reveal the exact margin on the vials, but it's reasonable to assume they're significant, if not higher than the traditional retail channel, because they're cutting out the costly middlemen. And remember, this isn't just about margins, it's about control. Controlling the channel means Lilly sets the patient experience, controls pricing, and locks in loyalty. You got to come back to them. For patients, that means easier access. Lilly Direct is very easy if you're willing to go through them, but it also raises questions about long-term affordability and competition. So let's talk about compounding and really the approach of Lilly versus NOVO NORDISK's approach, because compounding was the talk of Lilly's call. This is where things get interesting and honestly a little bit messy. Both Lilly and NOVO NORDISK have been aggressive when it comes to compounding. NOVO's earnings call yesterday made headlines when they said U.S. GLP-1 growth is slowing and pointed the finger partly at compounded medications. In fact, they said there were more than 1 million patients on compounding. NOVO has filed over 100 lawsuits in federal courts, issued public warnings, and gone after both 503A pharmacies and telehealth companies. Lilly, they're not more quiet. In fact, they have been just as aggressive, if not more so. On the Q&A, Terrence Flynn from Morgan Stanley asked management about the size of the compounded GLP-1 market, what they're seeing, and whether it's materially impacting sales. Lilly's answer was firm. They are pursuing legal action against a large number of compounders and telehealth companies, and they will continue to take steps to protect patient safety and the integrity of their products. Note that second part, integrity of their products. The problem is both companies are choosing to needlessly smear the entire compounding pharmacy industry. These are all state-regulated businesses that serve a vital role in our healthcare system well beyond GLP-1s. Although there may be some bad actors, you don't need to paint it with a broad brush. Compounding was never meant to be a permanent solution, but it exists for situations where a patient needs a customized version of a drug, and for many, it's been the only affordable path to treatment. We have to ask, will Lilly's lawsuits make compounding disappear overnight? No, we don't think so. What they will do is set up a long, drawn-out legal battle. This market is constantly evolving, and if the obesity market continues to grow, as we believe it will, and if access and affordability improve through new players and new drugs, the role of compounding will in all likelihood naturally shrink over the next few years without a scorched earth legal strategy. Save the money on the lawyers, invest it in price. The irony here, while they're working to shut down compounders, neither NOVO or Lilly is being transparent about the real driver of affordability issues, their own list prices. Now, that's certainly not the only problem. The entire system is very complex and adds cost at every point. And the reality for patients is simple. Until those list prices come down, the demand for alternatives like compounding is not going to go away. Let's talk about orforglipron's place is in the market. As we mentioned earlier, Lilly also released long-awaited phase 3 results for its experimental oral obesity drug orforglipron. The highest dose helped patients lose just over 12% of their body weight after 52 weeks. That's lower than what we've seen with injectables like Zepbound or Mounjaro, and Wall Street clearly noticed, sending Lilly shares down double digits the day of the announcement. But here's where we need to rethink the narrative. Orforglipron still has the potential to dramatically grow the size of the market, even with lower weight loss. If Lilly prices it right and makes it accessible, this could be a starter medication for millions of people or a long-term maintenance option after injectable treatment. This could make the size of the pie larger, not simply have everyone fighting over the same piece of pie. The trial data also gives us more color on tolerability and dosing strategy. The discontinuation rate at the highest dose, largely due to gastrointestinal side effects, was about 14%, which is actually lower than in some injectable GLP-1 trials. But one of the doses was dropped entirely from the program because it didn't deliver enough benefit to justify keeping it. Analysts pressed Lilly's leadership on whether these results would limit commercial potential. Chris Schott from JP Morgan asked point blank whether the lower efficacy meant orforglipron was just a niche product, or if it could play a larger role. Lilly's R&D chief Dan Skowronski responded that the company sees orforglipron as complementary to its injectable portfolio, adding that the oral pill format opens an entirely new patient segment who would otherwise never start treatment. And I think this is where it's interesting because people get so excited about tirzepatide, retatrutide, and these big numbers. I've lost 38% of my body weight on tirzepatide, I get it. But the total market, the total penetration for obesity drugs is somewhere below 12% right now of people who could potentially take them. So there's a lot of runway. There's a lot of people who haven't thought about it or who have said no because it was too expensive or who have said no because they don't want to take a shot. If they walked into their doctor today and said, I need help, and the doctor had the option of orforglipron at some crazy price, like, I don't know, $100 a month, making it up, have no idea what it would really be, I think they would try it. And I don't think they'd go, oh, I wish I had retatrutide. I think they'd go, sure, let's take the prescription. So this isn't just about competing directly with the most potent injectables. It's about widening the front door to treatment and offering a more convenient option that could help maintain weight loss. Lorraine and I would certainly try this for maintenance. There's no question about it. I don't need to take a shot. I certainly don't need to pay additional funds every month to Lilly if there's a pill that's at a great price. Done right, this could bring millions more into the GLP-1 ecosystem. And that's something that could pay off for both patients and for Lilly. Let's talk about Lilly's obesity pipeline and innovation, because that's where it gets really exciting. Beyond Zepbound, Mounjaro, and orforglipron, Lilly is building a pipeline, a portfolio, if you will, that's designed to dominate the obesity space for the rest of the decade. And compared to NOVO NORDISK's pipeline, which is severely lacking in major obesity drugs really until 2027, Lilly's near-term bench is deep. Here's what's coming. Retatrutide, the triple agonist, GLP-1 glucagon agonist that's already shown weight loss above 24% in phase 2 trials. Lilly says it's on track for a 2027 launch if phase 3 results hold up. Mazdutide, licensed from Innovent, this dual GLP-1 glucagon agonist is in phase 3 trials for obesity with data expected in 2026. Orforglipron, as we mentioned earlier, the first once-daily oral GLP-1 from Lilly, aiming for a broader reach and a potential market launch in 2026. And of course, there are next-generation tirzepatide formulations, including potential once-monthly injectables and combination therapies, all in early to mid-stage trials. On pricing, which is what we all want to know, of course, CEO David Ricks wouldn't commit to specifics, but hinted that orforglipron could be positioned lower than injectables to encourage first-line adoption. He said, we have an opportunity to bring in people who aren't currently treated, and price is part of that equation, he told analysts. During the call, Terrence Flynn from Morgan Stanley asked whether Lilly's obesity pipeline strategy was about maximizing share among existing patients or about expanding the pie. Ricks was clear. We think we can do both. Our job is to make sure every patient who can benefit has an option in our portfolio. He is swinging for the fences. And that's where Lilly's advantage really shows. They're not betting on just one or two blockbuster products. They're building an entire ecosystem of obesity treatments that can meet people where they are, whether they're just starting in active weight loss or in long-term maintenance. If Novo's next major launch window is still years away, and Lilly keeps bringing new drugs to market every 12 to 18 months, we have to ask why this all matters, and what does the road ahead look like? At the end of the day, all of this, the sales numbers, the lawsuits, the new drug announcements, it isn't just about Wall Street. It's about whether people like us, people who are using GLP-1s to treat the disease of obesity, will have access to the treatments that work for us. Lilly just posted a quarterly profit of $5.66 billion. Let that sink in. That's after covering every expense, every research project, every executive salary. Surely a portion of that could be invested in making these drugs more affordable, expanding access, and building trust with the very patients who help deliver those numbers. They have the pipeline, the scale, and the resources to do something no one else has done in this space. Make these medications available to more people at a lower cost with consistent supply. And they can afford to do it. And in doing so, they would grow their overall business far more than by simply protecting higher prices in the short term. If they choose to, Lilly can take this moment to be the hero in obesity care. Not just the market leader, not just the one with the biggest revenue, the company that patients trust, and made sure the treatment for the disease of obesity was within the reach of millions more. Because let's be real, if they pull that off, they will continue to grow their market share, their unit volume, and their dollar profit. They have the potential to become the largest pharmaceutical company in the world, honestly, the largest company in the world. But to truly lead, they have to earn it, not just with innovation, but with action. The demand is there. The need is there. The only question is whether Lilly will rise to meet it. For those of us living this every day, that answer can't come soon enough. Now, what I'll tell you is, although this video is certainly about Lilly as a result of its analyst calls, and yesterday was about NOVO as a result of its analyst calls, there are hundreds of drugs in development from companies all over the world. There are companies nipping at their heels. We can look across numerous sectors and see that although the leaders have the best chance of winning and surviving, they don't always. Could be Viking, could be Amgen, it could be anybody, right? There's somebody out there that will bring these drugs to market at a reasonable price and a great efficacy. They'll provide the best value. They'll make customers love them. There is a hero out there. The question is, who will it be? Lilly's in the pole position right now. Maybe it'll be them. Lilly, you can be the hero. If you haven't already, please take one moment to like and subscribe, hit the bell. It'll alert you every time we publish one of these videos. My name is Christopher Durham, and we are the Downsized. I'll see you next time.